Welcome back to another part of this tutorial series. Today we are focusing on the UV unwrapping. The UV maps are the foundation for any texture work. They let us put a 2D texture onto a 3D object. If you make a mistake in your UV maps, the texture may be distorted or stretched. Before we jump into the Blender, let's take a look on some theory. So what is UV mapping? A UV map is a 2D representation of your 3D model surface, all of the faces. Think about it like paper model. To get 3D object, you cut its part from 2D paper sheet. This is the opposite approach. We already have the 3D object and want to get it into 2D, so we are able to draw textures onto it. Each point of your 3D mesh corresponds to a point on the UV map. For example, the basic cube have 8 corners, which equals to 8 vertices. When we would do it from paper, it would look like this, showcasing us how the points are put onto the 2D UV map. But you may ask why this matter. Correct UV prevent texture stretching and distortion, and they also allows precise control over how textures are applied. And this is important for us when we want to create a Formula 1 liveries. There is some basic terminology which I will use going forward and you should know, starting with the seams. These are the edges where the mesh is cut to unfold. Then we have islands. These are separate pieces of the UV map. And lastly we have packaging, how the islands are arranged on the UV map, so it's efficient and use the maximum of the texture space. We have several ways of how to represent a 3D objects in 2D. And several ways how to achieve it in Blender. For example, the Earth. We usually know it as a rectangular map, which is in fact stretched. More appropriate would be add few cuts to prevent distortion. But there are much more projections, each serving for different purpose. Therefore, we will try the most used techniques on the basic cube in Blender to understand it better. We will start with basic cube for simple explanation. Open new general file. Before we unwrap anything, we need to make sure our object is ready. Otherwise, the UVs can look messy or distorted. Select the cube, go to Object, Apply, Rotation and Scale. This makes sure Blender knows the actual size and orientation of the object. This is important because unwrapping relies on world dimensions. Now we check normals. Each face of the object have a normal, defining what is outside and inside. If we have flipped normals, our texture would be flipped like we look at it from the opposite side. To see normals, go to Overlays and click on Face Orientation. You can see the cube is blue. Blue is correct, red incorrect. Let's go to edit mode and test it. If I select everything and press Shift N to recalculate normals, click inside, now it's red. This way you can flip the normals. We can do it also just for single face. If I select this face, press Shift N, calculate inside, I will flip only one of the faces. What you should remember from this, before the UV unwrap, you want to see all faces on your model blue. We can turn that face orientation off and continue. Let's switch to UV editing tab. Our screen is split here. On the right is classic 3D viewer, automatically in edit mode. On the left is 2D UV editor, where we will see faces of our objects in 2D. If we click on these two arrows on the upper left, UV Sync selection, we can already see that this cube has some default UVs. It's linked, clicking on faces in one window selects them in the other window. There are multiple options how to turn this cube to 2D. We will start with Smart UV Project. Smart UV Project is Blender automatic unwrapping. It's fast and works well for hard surface objects or complex shapes where you don't need precise control. In right window, select everything, press U, Smart UV Project. Here we have several settings. Angle limit tells us from how sharp edge we split to separate UV islands. Then we can set margin between the islands. I will keep it like this and select OK. And you can see our UV has changed. Next option to UV unwrap is project from view. We can have UV laid exactly same as we see the objects in the right window. Select everything, press U, project from view. There are cases when this is useful, which we will see on our F1 car model. The option we will use the most is creation of manual seams and then unwrap. This gives us full control. We decide exactly where to cut the model so the texture lays out cleanly. Select the edges where you want to cut, right click, mark seams. Then select everything, U, unwrap. And we get exactly what we had in the beginning, the most logical way to unwrap the cube. That would be the basic of UV unwrapping technique. Now let's look on packing, scaling and stretching. We focus on the left window. These are simple squares without stretching. But on our car model we have complex geometry which can cause issues leading to texture deformation. To see stretching, go to Overlays and select Displayed Stretch. You can see everything blue, which means correct, no stretch. When I select some vertices and move them around, it changes color indicating we have stretched UV. What it really means is that in 3D is a perfect square, but in 2D it's mapped differently and will cause texture deformation, as it will try to fit this stretch shape to square in 3D. Our target should always be to unwrap with minimal stretching. When I select the single face, they are not stitched together. I can move them around with G, scale with S, rotate with R. If I want to select the whole island, I can press L. When we will be unwrapping different sections of our car, we may want to have the same scale of them at the end. To achieve this, select everything, go to UV and press Average Island Scale. This will scale the all faces correctly. Last thing is packing. We want to use this texture space efficiently. We can move these islands manually or select everything and go to UV, Island Packing. We can set if we allow scale and rotation changes and how big the margin will be. When I select OK, it automatically scales to fit the best possible way. These were the basics you need to know. Let's switch to our Formula 1 car model to continue. First thing we will do, we will save this model under new name. Go to File, Save As, and save the copy of your model. We are going to apply all modifiers. Before you proceed, be sure that you finished modeling, because it will be much harder to make any changes further. I will go part by part in our tree and apply all modifiers. You do the same. When you do that, press Ctrl S to save your work. We will prepare our model. Select everything, go to Object, Apply, Rotation and Scale. And now I'm gonna select all the parts I want to UV unwrap. So these are the parts when I want to add some special texture. I will select main body, mirrors, wheels, wheel covers and parts of the wings. I will go to Edit Mode, Top View, turn on the X-ray and delete one half of it. Why am I doing this? I want to add seams to this model so I can UV unwrap. Right now I should do it on both sides as this is symmetrical. If I delete one half, add seams to only one half, then add mirror modifiers, apply it, the seams will copy to other side and I will save half the work. So let's delete it. I will mark this middle line, so I have marked seam, and I can just select this one half and delete it. I will turn on the X-ray, delete this mirror, delete half of the front wing, delete a bunch of parts in the back, and just finish with this. So now we have half of the model. We are going to add seams so we can unwrap it. Let's start on the rear wing. I want this panel split it to two sides, so I add one loop cut to the middle, right click, mark seam. That's all for this part. Then I select these two, I want to split them here in the back. Mark seam like this, and here I will add one more. This is for the back. Let's go to front wing. Again I will select this side. I want this on the half, so add loop cut, mark seam, also this, add loop cut, mark seam, and the same thing on these three flaps. Like in the back, I will just select these, mark seam, and check if it's also in the back. Yes, it translated to back. So now I can select this, and I'm selecting only one side. Ctrl S to save your work. And let's go to wheels and wheel covers. For wheel covers we don't have to do anything, and for wheels we will just split them in the middle. Only things we will be adding to wheels are the Pirelli stickers on the side wall, so there's not much to do. And the main body. This is the hardest part. Let's separate the halo first. Mark seam, and also on the upper part. We will mark seam like this. Then we need to separate these connections. Seam, the same on the top. Basically we are looking for all the parts we want to have separated. And now we need to think about the side pods. I will add one selection here. Basically I need to separate this to top part, side, bottom part, and separate also side pod. So let's start with the side pod. If we can find some good loop here. This seems nice. And we want to separate it on the bottom as well. So let's do it like this. Now I should have separated side pod like this. Next, we need to somehow cut this. So I think we will cut from the halo down, like this, and on the opposite side we will connect from here mark seam, let's split this inside part, and now we should have separated parts. Let's do the mirrors, that should be last. Mark seam. Like this, we should have prepared all the parts we want. On the steering wheel we will add just one seam on the main body because the rest will be projected from view. So let's go here. And we can add mirrors to these main parts. Generate mirror and we can apply it. I will do it for all these parts we edited. Now when you've done that, you can go to edit mode and see that these seams we edit are mirrors to the other side. It was crucial for this main body, so we don't have to do the cutting 2 times. We can save our work. Let's start with UV unwrapping. I will create several UV maps for this model, starting with the tires. Tires and wheel rims will be separate from other parts. I will select all these parts I want to edit, go to UV editing, I will select everything and move it out. On the main texture space, I want only new texture I will create. Press L to select these parts. Go to side view, press dot to center, view, project from view. This should be one tile. Let's do the opposite side. I will select this outer part, and all of these. Go to side view, center, view, project from view, and I have this absolutely same but from the opposite direction. Let's do this also for the rear tires. Why I'm selecting this half and this outer half is because when I will be projecting the Pirelli sticker, they should be the same rotation on these two. So I will select this, go to side view, center, view, project from view. Again, it's matching. Let's go to opposite side. Select all of these. Go to side view, center, view, project from view. And we will have almost everything laid correctly on the space. We only don't have the central parts and these nuts, which are not really interesting in. So I will select everything, and I can scale it up to fill this space correctly. And when I have this, I can select everything, go to UV, export the UV layout. And I will create a new folder here called UV maps. And here I will save it as tires and wheels. I will change the size to 4K and export the UV layout. What I just exported is this image, which will help me when I will be creating the textures. That would be one UV map for all of these objects. Now let's go for the main body and the wings. I will select all parts I want to unwrap in this step. We'll save it with Ctrl S before proceeding and switch back to UV editing. This is a mess, complete mess, so I will select everything and move it to the side. Let's start with the rear wing and front wing. I will select all of these parts. I'm just pressing L on the faces which are interesting to me. And press U, unwrap. This way I get a bunch of these islands. I should select a margin here. This is much better. And now I can align it properly so I know what is top and what is bottom. Let's start here. This is top, top and top. But it looks like it's mirrored, right? This is my right side, this is the opposite side, so I will select this and rotate by 180. And all of them have the corresponding bottom side. This would be the front wing, that's correct. So I will select it and move it here up so I know this is a correct front wing. Let's take a look on other parts. These are the rear parts, these are the fronts. So I will rotate this by 180 degrees so I have it correctly aligned, and I can move it as well. These are the outside parts up here. This will be the inside parts. We'll move them here as well. Rotate by 90 degrees. And I can try to align them so I can have it at least slightly the same, and it will help me when I will be making the textures. We'll turn it 180. No, we'll keep it like that. Now, here we have the inner part. This should be the outer. No, this is also the inner part. So these two are outside, these two are inside. Let's rotate it by 180. Also this, rotate 180. Inside. So I will just move it, so I have it side by side, like this. And the same for these two. So when I select all of these, it should be the front wing complete. Let's check the stretch. Go to overlays, display stretch. And if we go to other view, I don't think we have much stretch on these parts. It looks blue. So this is great. I also check the rear wing when we are at it. And it looks good as well. So let's align the rear wing. This is inner part. This is outer. So inside, inside. I will move it closer together. These two are inside. And these two are outside. Right, this is outside. So I can select these and move them here as well. And now just we are correct, this is top and this is top, bottom. No, these two are top and these two are bottoms, so I will just move these here. And I will also move them so they align in the middle. Let's check if it's correctly rotated. Yes. And no, this is incorrect. So I want to have this the opposite direction. I will rotate it by 180. And right now when I select the top, I have all the right side. So we'll move this up, select all of the wings, go to UV, and let's average island scale. Okay, perfect. We'll move this as it's too close. and we can save our work. Now let's do the main body. I will do it on the several steps and then scale the islands properly. So let's start in the back. I will select these four and let's go to Unwrap. This looks really good. I will flip this 180 and we can check the stretching. And it looks like it's unwrapped really nicely. I don't see any big stretches. Here we have some overlap. Let's check where it is. It's this section here, so we should split it. We are missing this as the seam on both sides. So let's mark it as seam. These two will move to the side, these are good. And these two, let's unwrap again. Okay, this is much better. No stretching on these two parts. Let's go to the front. In the front I will remove this seam, so I have it as one part. Let's select these three, and we can also select the bottom. Unwrap. This looks really good. We have the front nose and sides. I will flip this once again. Also flip this and move it here. Let's see if this is the same size. Yes. So we can select these four and move them to the side. Now we need to clear one of these seams, so we have a better unwrap here. I will do it on the top. Oh, actually I will do it on the bottom, because on the top it will be less visible on the renders that we cut there. So clear this seam, let's go to opposite side, let's clear this. Okay. And we will also clear this. Seam, we will clear also this. And all of these. We can keep this cut in the middle. And we can unwrap this section. We also need to clear these. It's complete. I can press U, unwrap. Alright. alright. But looking at it, I will rather have the theme here than having it in debug. So let's switch to let's hide this. Let's hide this and let's add the theme to the front. Dark theme. And at the back I will remove it here. Clear theme. Yes, this is much better. Again, check the stretching. We have some stretching here, but it's okay. Let's move it to the side. What is remaining? We should clean all of these things which are unnecessary here. So let me do that. And we will unwrap it once again. Okay. And also this top one. This way we should have this complete shape, and on the top I need to get rid of these. Let's unwrap these two parts. And here's something wrong because it's selecting this as well. Yes, here it's missing. So select this. Great, and also select this. And we can press U, unwrap. So we have the top part, we have this part. And what is remaining are these two and mirrors. Here we have a problem because we don't have marked theme on this part. So let's edit here. Mark theme. Let's unwrap these two once again. So we have all these parts. Let's rotate it. So this. And we can select them and move them to the side. What is remaining here? Halo, inside parts, and then we will have the mirrors. Let's unwrap these two, it should be prepared. Scale it down and move. And now for the halo. Let's try to unwrap. I don't think it will work. Exactly. And what about Smart UV project? This is much better. So we used a Smart UV project for the halo. This way we will only add stickers to this part. We have also the sides and we don't have to really worry about other parts. Let's go down, move it here. What is remaining here is this part, because we have a seam here which we need to remove. Once again, I will unwrap this, scale it down and move it here where it was before. This would be my body. We can save it and go to the mirrors and finish with the mirrors. I will just select all of these and press U to unwrap. Let's make it nicer. So this is top, this is top, this is bottom, bottom, that's okay. Inside, outside, inside. So I need to rotate this and move it to the side. Also we'll select this, move it to the side. We just need to improve the spacing. These are front of the mirrors, that's good. These are insides. This and this is also inside, so I will move this up. Let's see if these two are on the same side, and these two should be on the same side as well. This is top and top, bottom and bottom. So let's move these to the side, select, move up. So I will select this, scale it down and move it here. Perfect. Go back to object mode, save it with Ctrl S. Select all of these parts we just UV unwrapped and bond them on one map. Go back to edit mode and let's check it. What is this? This is this middle section. We can move it to the wings. It's on the rear. And now select everything. Now we are going to pack all these parts. I will just scale them and move them into the image. And at the end I will check if the same parts are on the same sides. Here it's not true, so I need to move these to opposite direction. Let's move this in X. And also move this in X. So this is one side. And it actually doesn't make sense like this, so I will move it once again. Because it should be like this. Now this is one side. And still I need to switch these two. So let's do it. one side and the opposite side. Here we have correctly one side, the opposite side. These are outside, these are inside, the same here. I will enlarge these side plates. And I think like this we are good to go. Maybe just make the rear wing parts bigger. We can save our work and go to UV and go to export the UV layout. And this will be main body texture. We will keep it at 4K and export the UV layout. Alright, now let's return to object mode. What we are going to do is add one more map made from projection, because it may be useful for us. Here, under this triangle, green triangle, data, object data properties, we have UV maps. This, if I go to edit mode, on the main body, this is our UV map. I can add a new UV map, switch to it, select everything basically, go to side view, center, and press U, project from view. Now I have just single part and I can switch between these two maps. So I will select this map, select everything, UV, export UV layout, and let's go to main body and let's put side projection. This way we have two UV maps for one object. We will use it later for texturing, you will see. Last part which we need to UV unwrap is the steering wheel. So let's hide everything else and let's focus on the steering wheel. We will select the parts we want to unwrap. Let's check it there. So the steering screen. We don't want handles, we want LEDs. We want main body. And we don't want connection. So let's go to edit mode, select everything, go to front view, press U, project from view, and we have our steering wheel. The trick is we will not be putting all textures to all parts, but we will only add like stickers on top of what we have. So this is great, and we can select everything, go to UV, export the UV layout, and save it as steering wheel. Let's go back to edit mode, go back to layout, and turn our car back on. We didn't change anything visually, but we prepared a lot for texturing. This was a really crucial part of this tutorial series, because right now I have these images which I will use for texturing in the next episode. So thank you for watching, hit a follow for the next episodes, and see you next time.